What's going on, everyone? Like we talked about in yesterday's video, this week is gonna be an awesome one. It's like the Super Bowl week, but for the stock market, there are giant earnings. The market's right at all-time highs, and at the same time, we have a crucial FOMC interest rate decision. Looking at the market today, the rocket boosters were in full speed yet again as the market just blasted higher. But what we'll notice is that the market got very volatile very quickly towards the end of the day today. So we're definitely going to cover kind of like the quote-unquote hidden reason as to why this happened. So stick with us today. We have a great video and we have some great setups for it tomorrow. And let's get right into it, Tom.
Yeah, that market overall was fantastic today. Early on, it was pretty shaky. The SPY was kind of slow and started moving down to around recent support, around 487.20 to 487. And for everybody who was on the live stream this morning, I actually had an alert placed here waiting for the market to break down because I've been watching this key blue trend line lately. And what happened? The market hit there and bounced right back up again. And then we got some great news coming out that the market seemed to really love, and it pushed it up to new highs. But today was a fantastic day. Even some of these stocks that report earnings over the next few days, like Microsoft, had a hell of a run to new all-time highs, even in after hours here. Look at it continuing to extend up to 411. So we're seeing so many great moves out of the market, Mike, and it's getting to be that euphoric state that it's just not slowing down, right? I think, though, that this week could change everything. Obviously, the FOMC meeting will play a big role, but today was great, and we made new highs once again.
You know it. And Tom, you'll notice the market really started to turn those rocket burners on with around an hour or so left until the market closed. And the main news that was associated with this move is that, surprise, surprise, the U.S. Treasury, of all people, is going to be borrowing less money than it was originally expected to. So this is always a good thing, even though it's pretty rare. But either way, basically the U.S. Treasury is going to be borrowing $760 billion for the first quarter, and they were expected to borrow around $815 billion. This news has a lot of ripple effects, but at the end of the day, it's always a good thing to see an entity, especially as big as the U.S. Treasury, to have their borrowing slowing down a little bit. And the market sure loved it, as we could tell by the price action.
Yeah, and I've heard that this can affect like note auctions and a bunch of different things in the economy. Like you said, there could be a ripple effect there, but the market really loved to hear this news. And considering that the SPY was kind of stuck here over the past few days, you can see on the chart, there was major resistance around 488 to 489, and the market was kind of rejecting there to end the week last week. And once that news came out, it was kind of that good confirmation and that good push up over resistance. And ever since that breakout started, it just never slowed down to end the day. So it was a great end of the day, Mike. A lot of stocks started popping off. There were a ton of great opportunities, and just stick around till you see some of these profits in Discord, guys. There was a pretty fun one from one of our best members named Manny today, so make sure you guys stick around until the end for that. But Mike, it's always good to see the market running up, and I know that we have those big earnings coming up tomorrow with Microsoft, Google, AMD. Those stocks are getting pretty close to all-time highs. I know Microsoft just made a brand new one today.
Yeah, it's going to be a show. AMD and Alphabet, I should say, as well, aka Google. But with earnings, guys, don't get tempted by the, I guess you could say, allure of earnings. Play the move after. Don't gamble ahead of time because it's a loser's game. Play the move after, and it's a lot better over time. But either way, I mean, when you have powerhouse companies set to report like we do tomorrow after close, that's like a, make or break type of moment for the market. And so far with earnings season, the market has been pretty mixed because Netflix has been great on earnings, and Tesla wasn't like horrible, but it definitely didn't live up to most people's expectations. So the 3 to 4 powerhouses that we have tomorrow will really set the tone.
Yeah, they will, and these are 3 huge AI stocks as well. Everybody's been into AI lately, and Microsoft, AMD, and Google, this might be the best AI day for earnings out of the whole earnings season. I mean, those are 3 huge companies. We all know Microsoft with Windows and everything that they do, AMD with their chips, and Google with their cloud business, and We all know Google. They're one of the biggest things out there. So it's going to be a fun day, Mike. And then tomorrow before open, Boeing reports too. So maybe that'll even be kind of interesting. I know Boeing has been taking a big hit, but looking at Microsoft here, it's at all-time highs. Like you said, it's not worth chasing. If it does end up running up after earnings, we could possibly see a good earnings continuation like we saw with Netflix, where it continued up for a few days later. You didn't necessarily have to just gamble on that first move to win on Netflix. It actually had a few pretty good days following.
No doubt. So one thing that's worth noting, like Tom said, you could always play the move after, and that's a smarter thing to do. But Tom, looking at like the market as a whole right now, what is the next move going forward? We're right at all-time highs. We're at 491, which is a hell of a level, especially when you look back at the market over the past couple of months. What are the main levels to watch going into tomorrow?
Yeah, so resistance is really hard to find here, especially because we're at all-time highs and we're kind of going up into uncharted areas. And whenever the market's open and, tomorrow intraday, we might be able to find some big levels on Bookmap or using some software like that. Today, the big thing is that high of day right around 491.40. Obviously, if we can't break that heading into tomorrow, we're going to have to really watch the market closely, especially with those earnings coming up. People might be a little freaked out, but if we end up breaking that high of day, we have to really watch for that momentum to keep pushing us higher. Whenever you play a breakout, it's a little bit tough. I know for a lot of newer traders, they get burned a lot on trying to follow these big breakouts on momentum plays. You have to be able to time up that play correctly. Make sure you're not buying in too high either. Today there was a few stocks that ripped up, like Microsoft, for example, early on. And once it got a little overextended, they start to fall back a little bit. So be a little careful with that. As far as SPY goes, though, I would say as long as we can hold above 490 tomorrow, we'll be pretty set for some more bullishness. But the big thing is that earnings, obviously. Heading into the end of the day, that's going to be where the volatility will start to pick up. If the SPY falls down, we recently pushed above a huge area at 488 to 489. So I'm going to use that exact area as a huge support tomorrow if the market does pull back. It might even provide a good dip buy opportunity if that happens. But as of now, things are holding up very well in after hours.
100%. And looking at the market right now, there's a lot of good things that are happening, especially as we're at all-time highs. But it's certainly not all sunshine and rainbows, as one of the biggest risks that has been lingering behind the scenes right now are the increased geopolitics all around the world, and especially in the Middle East. And basically some really bad news came out where 3 U.S. troops were killed in Jordan and like 40 other ones were injured, where basically, enemies sent in a drone towards this base, and the U.S. troops thought it was a, friendly drone, and clearly it wasn't, and it ended up doing some pretty serious damage. But obviously, when you see news like this, obviously it's horrible for many reasons, and it especially, keeps those tensions in the Middle East going even higher, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And Biden said that the U.S. shall respond. So we'll have to see how this works. But, there's all these militia groups, and there's obviously a lot of small factions, I guess you could say, in the Middle East. And they're most of them are anti-U.S., obviously. We do see sometimes missiles fired from there. We'll see little pieces of news come out like missile was fired at base or etc. But whenever I hear news that we will respond to these 3 American troops getting killed, that is going to be pretty rough. I don't know exactly who we're going to go after yet, because like we said, they're kind of blaming Iran-backed militias. So what are we going to do? Respond against Iran or something? That could be, fueling a huge conflict if that happens. So we'll have to see what happens, but we're in an election year, and there's starting to be a lot of military news heating up. It might just get crazier from here.
Exactly. So just keep, oil prices in the back of your mind and just the whole situation at hand, because, obviously if these tensions keep moving the way that they currently are, that would bring a whole bunch of problems. So just keep that in mind going forward. But Tom, that's the news for today, so we're not going to waste any other time. So let's get right into some action-packed setups. Why not, right? A stock I'm watching very closely right now is Lucid. And this one, at one point, was loved by so many. But over the years, it has just made new lows more times than I think anyone can count. But basically, today was a pretty good day for it. They had a ton of positive momentum, and it closed higher by 27%. The intraday price action was phenomenal, and it also closed right by its highs. So I'm going to continue to watch this one to the upside going into tomorrow. This is a very volatile and kind of a crazy stock, and I normally don't talk about stocks like this, but given how low it is and given how much positive price action and bullish momentum, I feel like it's definitely worth watching. So either way, I'll have some close eyes on this one to the upside for tomorrow, but let's make sure we see a break above like 342.
Yeah, that's a good level there. Nice double top end of day. I think if we break that, it could continue up. Lucid had a great day today, and it's starting to come up off those lows pretty well. I'll say this, Mike, it's about time they had some green. I think they had like 30 red days in a row. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but at least they're coming back now, starting to do well short term, and that can provide for these big moves. With my next play, I'm going with Snapchat, which is starting to break out a little bit, starting to get back up towards recent highs, and if it can break 17 tomorrow, I'm going to look at more bullishness. I like that move up towards recent resistance, and there's a lot of stocks starting to break out today, which is awesome. And over the past few weeks, and whenever we look at Snapchat, it's right around that high. So let's see a good breakout tomorrow.
Sounds good. All right, another stock I'm watching pretty closely is Fiverr, FVRR. It definitely had a great day as it popped up by 8.5%. The price action was strong and consistent all day long, so you can't really ask for much more. Also, on the daily chart, they're making higher lows, and they're getting closer and closer to that $30 resistance. So I'm watching it to the upside for tomorrow, and I would like to see a break above that, we'll say that $29 resistance.
Yeah, so many of these stocks are starting to come back up off these recent dips, and it is looking awesome for some. With my next play, I'm going with Square. It's another stock coming up off its recent dip. I talked about this one yesterday. There was a key level to watch right around 65.60, 65.50. This morning, we actually broke above it in a great way, and Square ended up going up 6%. These options were on fire. Go ahead and make Square break above 69 tomorrow. If it can break above that before the market opens, then go ahead and look at maybe 69.10, 69.15, but I'm looking for a good breakout up to that $70 resistance. That would be a nice target.
Beautiful. There we go. All right, well, it's now about that time for today's momentum plays, and with the first one, we have the mouse, Disney, to the upside.
Wow, it's pretty rare to see Disney to the upside on the momentum plays. Maybe they're starting to come back from the dead a little bit. I know they've taken a lot of flack lately. Go ahead and make them break 97.65, which is the high of after hours for tomorrow.
Sounds good. With the next one, we have Rivian, also to the upside.
Yeah, kind of like a Lucid play. Go ahead and make them break that double top right around 16.15.
All right, and then with the last one, we have PayPal for both directions.
Yeah, PayPal was pretty good today overall. If they can end up breaking out tomorrow up above $64, then go ahead and look at calls. I think that we could see a good move up to 65 or higher. If it rejects and then they end up falling under this smaller intraday support right around 62.70, then look at puts.
All right, well, we have that downside level for puts, and we have the upside level for calls, and that is for PayPal. Don't forget about the upside levels for Rivian and Disney as well. These three stocks are only plays if they break the levels Tom listed. If they don't break the levels, then find a new setup. We're looking for a strong, powerful break through the level, and then, we're looking to ride that imbalance of buying and selling pressure, and that's what truly makes a momentum play a momentum play. So keep some close eyes on these three for tomorrow. But Tom, it's now about that time for today's big money trade of the day, and we are looking at ticker symbol OKTA, and basically we saw 667,000 go into the OKTA 95 strike calls that expire on August 16th of 2024. This stock was at one point a high-flying growth stock, but like many stocks similar to this one, reality set in as 2021 went by, and the stock fell down quite a bit. It's still currently in the recovery phase, but it is definitely holding up very well. It's getting closer and closer and closer to that like $92 resistance. So either way, the big money is definitely buying the dip here in the grand scheme of things. They have a lot of time, and their call options are a little bit out of the money, but nothing too crazy given the amount of time they have. So very interesting setup.
Yeah, that's a big resistance short term. It's been testing it a little bit over the past few months and over the past year. So if we could start to get a nice uptrend and get back up to there or even higher, that would be great for the next few days. And this play does have a little bit of time to it. But I'll say this, even in the short term, with the way it's turning up today, it looks pretty awesome. But if we could really break 92, I think that's what the big money's obviously looking for a little bit better. Because once we break that, there's not really too much resistance up to like 105. So I'll be looking for the breakout, Mike. Hopefully it comes over the next few months. And I think this is another one of those set it and forget it big money plays just because of how much time it has.
No doubt. So keep some close eyes on this one going forward. But Tom, how can we not talk about Manny's solid trade of the day? We're talking about a $47,000 W right here. Manny just absolutely crushed it in the market today. For those of you who don't know Manny, he's always in the Stocked Up Discord floor. He's always in the Stocked Up comments. He's everywhere, right? And he had a day. He set the tone for the week. So amazing job, Manny, and huge shout out to you. And let's keep this momentum rolling throughout the rest of the week because it's going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, let's go, Manny. That is one hell of a gain today. It's very rare that we see a $47,000 move in the Discord. So congrats to you, Manny. Great trading. And hey, thank you for all the support and everything throughout the past few months. I know that you've been really supportive throughout the chat, and you're a great member of the Stocked Up community.
There we go. And Manny, let's keep it rolling. Awesome job and huge shout out to you. For those of you who are looking to get in on the action, check out that first link in the description in the comments down below to come join us in the Stocked Up trading floor. We have options day trading bots. We have technology that shows you which options are moving at every given minute of the day. We have unusual options activity. We have big money options trades like the same ones that we just covered in the video, but we cover them in the trading floor on the same day the trades are made before the market closes. You can chat with Tom and myself all day long, and you can even join our live event. It's the place to be. Come join us. It'll be that first link in the description, in the comments down below. But Tom, as I said towards the beginning of this video, this week is like the Super Bowl of stocks for the stock market between the giant earnings, the loaded economic schedule, especially with the FOMC interest rate decision, all while we're at all-time highs. You can't ask for much more.
Yeah, that decision's going to be huge coming out, and I know that today we had some crazy news, with all the Treasury news that came out with the borrowing and everything that kind of shot the market higher, and I'm really hoping that the market can continue up this week with the Federal Reserve FOMC meeting, but we'll have to see. Obviously, the earnings are going to be huge as well. Don't forget to screenshot this page if you guys want, or check out Earnings Whispers. They are pretty badass, putting out awesome earnings charts every single week for us. So shout out to them. But Mike, let's have a fantastic day tomorrow, and let's hope to continue on this good momentum because that was some awesome end of day movement. The options were going insane on some stocks.
There we go. Yeah, this week is going to be a great one. This sort of movement is something we should see something similar to this all week long. And especially when we are looking at individual stocks, things are about to heat up very quickly given these enormous earnings about to report. So no matter what, stay disciplined this week, keep your head up high, and let's crush it.